Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. On this week's program, we talk about another hot market, that being farm equipment. Our friend Sam O'Toole from New Frontier Ag will join us, and we'll talk about all things in those late model tractors as well as other equipment for the farm and ranch. Like real estate, it's also a seller's market right now. We'll also have features from Kansas Corn, Kansas Farm Bureau, and Kansas Wheat, along with a weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association and market information from Pinion, a division of KCO ISO.
Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farm and ranch families since 1919, kfb.org. And the Kansas Wheat Commission, lending in the adoption of profitable innovations from wheat, online at kswheat.com.
In agricultural news from agview.net, President Biden has signed an executive order directing USDA to engage in rulemaking on several issues. The executive order focused on promoting competition in the U.S. economy. It includes provisions on livestock markets and right to repair. The order directs USDA to consider new rules under the Packers and Stockyards Act to allow producers to bring and win claims under the act more easily. President Biden also directed USDA to consider new rules defining product of the USA label. Further, the order calls on USDA to develop a plan to increase marketing opportunities for farmers and ranchers, and the order encouraged the Federal Trade Commission to limit equipment manufacturers from restricting access to farmers wishing to repair their own machinery. That's known as right to repair. A report out from the Government Accountability Office encouraging the Federal Communications Commission to evaluate benchmark broadband speeds. The report recommends the FCC determine whether the current definition of broadband really meets the needs of small business. Currently, the benchmark for broadband, 25 megabits per second download, 3 megabits per second upload. But recent surveys suggest small businesses may need a download speed of 50 megabits a second. The GAO referenced a 2019 USDA report on rural broadband and agriculture. It showed technological advances and volumes of data needed to manage agriculture production growth. The USDA report says speeds in excess of a 25 to 3 megabit per second with more equal download and upload speeds likely be necessary. Further, the GAO says small businesses will likely benefit from federal funding by the FCC and USDA to expand broadband deployment. Roughly 8% of small businesses in the U.S. currently lack access to broadband. And the rally in crop prices over the last 12 months, combined with increased shipping costs, fueling inflation of food prices. The cost of shipping bulk grain from production regions in the U.S. to global users roughly doubled last year, according to Reuters. Shippers cite rising fuel costs, tighter supplies of shipping vessels, and longer port turnaround times. Global food prices fell in June for the first decline in a year, according to data from the Food and Ag Organization of the United Nations, but prices reached 10-year highs before the decline last month. More ag news at agview.net. We'll have more after these words.
The Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. And agview.net, serving the Beef Belt and Western Corn Belt with reliable and relevant agriculture information. agview.net.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, But how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
And welcome back. Sam O'Toole, New Frontier Ag in McCook, Nebraska joins us. Sam's our go-to guy when it comes to what's going on in machinery and just kind of a general overall tractor sales, so on. Sam, been a while. Glad that we're finally able to see you face to face.
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
All right, let's get to it. We talked about the land market being so hot. Boy, farm machinery is just, if you got some and it's for sale, it's gone seemingly like that.
Yeah, we haven't seen things like this for a long, long time, and it seems like it's across the board. Everything's kind of hot. I mean, just can't keep enough of it.
I know it wasn't that long ago we saw a resurgence in four-wheel drive tractors and some other things, and then it was tillage equipment, and you're exactly right. Now it seems like if you've got something that's in good shape, even if, say, it's a few years old, but if it's not, I mean, if it's just barely being used, you can almost get more than what maybe paid for originally.
Right. We, and we specialize here at New Frontier in, couple-year-old tractors, the John Deere tractors for sale, and we're having trouble, getting enough of them to sell. They're just, the new market is so tight right now that everybody's buying couple-year-old used equipment because they can't buy the new.
What we're hearing, are you seeing the same thing where farmers that are used to kind of always keeping that top and maybe would trade every couple of years, they just can't. So, but they may switch around and maybe still in line for maybe that 1 or 2 year old tractor with lower hours just to kind of keep things moving. So that market is still extremely strong.
Very strong, and on top of those customers, you have customers that haven't bought for many years and have made really good money the last few years, especially last year with all the subsidies and everything. They're in the market to buy that same equipment, so everybody's competing for that same equipment.
As we look to fall, what you think for the short term? Almost any piece of equipment, if it's in good shape, is going to be very hot.
Yes. Combines. We had the last few years of combines. We've had just a huge surplus of them. That surplus is mostly gone on combines. 8R series John Deere tractors are basically non-existent. Even the hay equipment, people are having trouble getting some of that. It just kind of across the board.
Mm-hmm. We're talking with Sam O'Toole, New Frontier Ag, and we're going to take a break, and we'll also talk about financing opportunities and how all that is moving forward as the economy starts opening back up. We'll be back in just a moment.
Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Livestock Association, supporting members' business interests and meeting consumer demands. KLA.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. And Kansas Corn, building the future at kansascorn.com.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics and soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Imagine turning soybean oil, used cooking oils, and waste animal fats into fuel so amazing it drives U.S. jobs and our economy forward. Learn more about biodiesel at americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
And Sam O'Toole from New Frontier Ag is joining us. We're getting an update on what's going on in the machinery business. It seems like really right now you have good late model equipment, whether it be implements or tractors, combines, still a very hot market. The other thing, Sam, we'd like to talk with you about is you also work on a lot of different financing plans. Where are we at with that? I know, as you talked about, with all the subsidies and other things that came from the government, it really helped farmers kind of take care of some things. What has, if anything, has that done to, say, the financing of this equipment, if you can find it and if you can make it part of your operation?
Well, talking with local bankers, they have a lot of money to loan because a lot of these guys have paid off a lot of debt, and they're willing to get really competitive on equipment loans. Your big players like Diversified, Ag Direct, their low rate financing is some of the lowest we've seen in the last 7 years probably. Leasing a year ago kind of took a switch and started getting higher and harder to do, and we're seeing that coming back a little too. So all good in the financing side. Very competitive rates and great time to buy.
Well, it seems like maybe now is the time to buy rather than to lease. Do you have some concerns? We keep hearing the Fed may do some changing now to interest rates because it's been so long, and really we're so used to almost dealing with no or very little interest. What might that do to this red hot market?
Well, that can slow it down definitely. It would just depend on how high that rate would actually go. We've always fluctuated, 3 points here and there, kind of from where we're at, and it doesn't seem to really matter as long as the commodities are good and, they have good money.
Okay. Now, folks want to talk with you. You go all over the country and you have a lot of connections lining either buyers or sellers up, so how can they get a hold of you?
They can reach us at calling 308-340-8989 or jumping on our website at newfrontierag.com.
All right, lots of things that you can help them out or answer their questions. So good to see you again. Thanks. We'll do this again.
Nice seeing you.
Sam O'Toole, New Frontier Ag, has joined us. Stay with us. We'll have more in just a moment.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
This is Deb Oldie, Director of Grower Services with Kansas Corn. Excited to share a bit of information with you about two activities that we have coming up over the next couple of weeks. The deadline for the Kansas Corn Yield Contest is August 18th. That contest is rolled into the national contest. So Participants are going to be fortunate to be able to be entered in both with just one entry this year. Likewise, your harvest form will be filled out just once as well, submitted through the national portal, and we'll have access to that to designate winners in 10 regions within the state of Kansas. Cash prizes are offered for that, and we're excited to see some great yields coming in soon. The second thing that we're planning and looking forward to in early August and early September are our listening tour stops across the state and also a couple of field days. We will be in almost every corner of Kansas at 7 different events. The listening tour stops are evening activities, and the 2 field days are more during the day. But we invite you to come out and see Kansas corn at those various locations. We'll be at in the Salina area, Moundridge, also Goodland, Garden City, Marysville, Lawrence, and also Fredonia. So be looking for the publicity on that and some direct invitations coming to your mailbox soon. And we look forward to seeing you.
What if sustainability were synonymous with U.S. soy? If energy efficiency, water quality, and soil health help define U.S. soy's value, that future is here, the time is now. To meet end-user demands, the Soybean Checkoff is committing to sustainability that's achievable, worthwhile, and enduring. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
If you get out there and just talk to other people, make friends, make connections, you're going to learn something to take back to your farm. You might teach somebody else, and it's just like at this level, maybe it helps develop leaders who then can go on and go farther, whether it be in Farm Bureau or just in the communities to promote agriculture or whatever that might be.
The Kansas Department of Agriculture is excited to invite you back to Manhattan this summer for our 6th annual Kansas Governor's Summit on Agricultural Growth on Thursday, August 26th. Traditionally, this event has been a time when we have brought all of the industry sectors together in one place with one goal: growing Kansas agriculture. Last year, we held our entire event online, and we did learn some valuable lessons from that experience, so this year's summit is a blend of in-person events and online meetings. The Summit main event on August 26th and the social the evening before will be held at the Manhattan Conference Center, and we encourage you to join us for a day of meaningful discussion about the future of Kansas agriculture. Last year's virtual summit was able to reach Kansas farmers, ranchers, and agribusinesses in a new way, especially for the sector breakout session discussions. So those sessions are again being held via Zoom with a strong emphasis on collaborative discussion. They began in early July and will continue up until the August Summit event. A full schedule of the sector breakout sessions, along with registration links for each individual Zoom meeting, can be found on the Summit webpage. There is no cost to attend any of the Ag Growth Summit meetings or events, but it's important that you register to get login information for the virtual sector sessions, and so we can provide adequate materials and meals for the in-person events. Registration has begun for all sessions on our website at agriculture.ks.gov/summit, along with agendas and overviews of the ag sectors. Whether in person or online, KDA remains committed to one purpose: to serve, promote, and grow the state's largest industry. Please join the KDA team as the Kansas agriculture community works together to grow smarter, grow stronger, and grow Kansas.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
I think the conference is really good to get people involved. You meet new people, you learn about an organization that can help. It opens your eyes as a beginning farmer, somebody coming back to the farm, to what an organization can do and what other people that are your age doing similar things. It brings people from all across the state together.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
It's a country that imports about 800,000 metric tons of wheat each year, a mere 90 miles from the United States. Yet the Cuban wheat market has long been a source of optimism and frustration for U.S. wheat farmers. With the change in administrations, there is hope for re-engagement with Cuba, but ultimately the 60-year-old embargo and associated policies still stand as a solid barrier to beneficial trade. Under the Obama-Biden administration, there were efforts to establish a new relationship and relax tensions. This included a new interpretation of cash in advance rules that apply to payment for any agricultural commodities, bilateral exchanges by technical staff and regulatory agencies, and the reopening of the U.S. Embassy in Havana. However, none of these changes resulted in actual wheat purchases. Then the Trump administration further restricted trade by limiting any business conducted between American companies and state-owned companies such as flour mills in Cuba. Any realistic effort to expand ag trade with Cuba needs to come from Congress. Just such a congressional effort was launched in June with the introduction of the Agricultural Export Expansion Act. That bill would allow private financing of agricultural commodities by U.S. companies, a small first step toward normalizing the trading relationship, but an important one to put U.S. companies on a near-level playing field when working with Cuban buyers. The Ag Export Expansion Bill is not the only pro-normalization effort within Congress. The Freedom to Export to Cuba Act would lift substantial portions of the embargo, including restrictions prohibiting transactions between U.S. and Cuban firms. Farmers are right to be interested in opening the Cuban wheat market. Cuba produces no wheat domestically and would be a substantial U.S. market if government barriers were to be lifted. But for any of that optimism to come to fruition, it's going to take a literal act of Congress.
Kansans are saving money and getting quality coverage with Kansas Farm Bureau health plans.
We are happy with our Kansas Farm Bureau health plan. It's not only saving us money, but we're a few months into it now, so our local clinics and hospitals now do have all of that information in, and it's working well. We're pleased with it. I think people look at that $50 fee for a membership and think, oh, I don't have to do this for other companies. I'll spend that $50 to save $14,000 a year.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Does your health plan lack dental and vision coverage? With Kansas Farm Bureau health plans, you can get a dental and vision bundle for yourself or your family at an affordable price, giving you the ability to maximize your benefits and lower your costs. Plus, you'll get a solid network of providers in one convenient package. Learn more at kfbhealthplans.com or contact a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent near you.
Beef councils from Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, and Oklahoma hosted a select group of 17 registered dietitians from 12 states for a 3-day virtual nutrition adventure. Attendees were selected given their high level of involvement on social media, blog platforms, and within university dietetic programs. The Checkoff-funded event emphasized beef's nutritional profile and culinary versatility through practical applications. Participants learned about emerging human nutrition research, as well as the lean cuts of beef and how best to prepare them from leading experts. They then used this information during interactive sessions to help better prepare them to share it with clients and patients. In addition, attendees learned more about the beef life cycle by taking virtual tours hosted by Kansas ranchers and feed yard owners. They also participated in a panel discussion with beef community experts that focused on topics ranging from sustainability to animal care and handling practices. The discussion provided important takeaway information for the dietitian attendees to use with clients who may have questions about beef production.
Premier Farm & Home has what you need to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Ken. We choose Premier Farm & Home for the professional look that we do ourselves.
Feel free to stop in. You can also visit our website at heycow.com.
Good day, I'm Derek Hermish with Pinion, a division of KCO ISOM. Since March 31st, the December corn futures market has moved more than $7.50. That is total movement up and down. That's never happened before in this short amount of time. We are all aware that this year's market is completely different than what we've been accustomed to in the last several years. It has required some adjustment in how you approach it. But how many of us still worry about a penny when putting in an offer to sell or an offer to buy an option? Capturing an extra nickel with a better cash bid or a targeted offer used to really mean something, and not to say that it still doesn't. But if you miss getting some cash sold or a hedge strategy on by a nickel now, it could cost you 40 cents the very next day, or $1 in the case of soybeans. We've had it happen more than twice this year already. One of the lessons I have learned this year is do not sweat the small stuff. We are all out to get the best price we can. And if you find yourself satisfied with where the price is at, but you think, well, it would be nice to get just a little bit more because it's in your blood to try and pinch every penny you can, I'm here to tell you that is a mistake this year. Make the decision. Don't worry over a penny or even a nickel, because today's market isn't moving in pennies per day. It's moving in dimes and quarters. I'm Derek Hermish. Have a good day.
Well, that's our show this week. Be social with us at KansasAgReport.net or our social media channels. I'm Ken Rogers. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.